Hi, this is Ed from Musical Lessons. And Tim Bergling is a Swedish DJ and electronic music producer. You may better know him as Avicii. And the song is called Wake Me Up. It's off of his 2013 release, True. Aloe Black provides the vocals, and Mike Einziger of Incubus plays the acoustic guitar. Now, I encourage you to check out the blog post, because in that blog post, there is a Wikipedia link for a little bit more information on the tune if you're interested in that. There's a YouTube link for the video if you want to check that out. And there's also a tab link with the lyrics and the chords if you'd like that. However, I do provide a chord chart for you so you can follow along. The other thing is that there's a bunch of information on the song specs, the typical stuff I just told you, plus the playing techniques, the chord progression, tempo, key, that kind of thing. All right, there's also a bunch of playing tips that will describe in detail what we go over here in this video. All right, so grab your guitar and I'll take you through the chords and the strumming patterns. Wake Me Up is a driving acoustic number, and we're going to use Mike Einziger's performance on that as our guide. So we're going to approach this from a flat picking standpoint. We're going to be doing a lot of strumming on this tune. All right, the tune is in the key of B minor. Okay, but there's only 4 chords to this tune, so the chords aren't going to give you too much trouble. The hard part is going to be syncing both of our hands together and getting the strumming patterns together with that. But first, let's check out the chords. We're going to start out with the movable B minor chord. My root is here on the 5th string. I do a bar with my first finger on the 2nd fret, and then I add the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th fingers to play the B minor. The next chord is a G chord. I use a 4-finger version. Don't get too hung up on the fingerings that I use. Feel free to use whichever one you're comfortable with. Then we have a D chord, your garden variety D chord, and a garden variety A chord. Now you can use the open position shape that I have here, or what you'll notice is that I also opt for the bar chord version, and I avoid playing the 1st string. You'll probably want to opt for the bar chord version because it will help you with the muting that we're going to need for this. All right, so come on back after you review those chords and we'll go over the strumming patterns. All right, let's go over the strumming patterns for this tune. And we're going to use a flat pick strumming pattern. It's based off of the boom chick technique. Now the boom chick is bass chord, boom chick, boom chick. The boom is the bass note, the chick is the chord. So what we do is we break up the guitar into 2 areas, the lower part and the higher part. You could look at it as the bottom 3 strings and the top 3 strings. What I'm doing is targeting the bass note. So here, let me demonstrate on the B minor. So I'm going boom, chick, bass, chord. And when we switch chords, always hit the bass note on the 1. Okay, so what I'm doing is just downstrokes right now, but we're going to need to add alternate strumming to get the real drive of this piece. Okay, so on the B minor chord, all right, so I'm going boom. All right, so work on getting that going first, because if you don't have the strumming pattern down, then it's going to be difficult to add the chords to it later. Okay, so we'll go over each of these chords and we'll go over the song form in a second. The intro for Wake Me Up is 4 measures. Now, the bulk of this tune, it's a 2-bar chord riff, and each chord gets 2 beats. We start out with B minor for 2 beats, G for 2 beats, D for 2 beats, and A for 2 beats. And the way the intro goes, boom, da 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 da, boom, da 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 da. That's what I want to get. Okay, that's the sound that I'm aiming for. So what you want to do is just practice it on 1 chord. Practice it on each of the chords first before you actually put it together. But once you put it together, and that's where it changes up on the A chord. You get that da 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 da. First you want to break down each of the elements. The chord, you want to get the chord fingering right. Then the strumming, get the targeting strumming together. Then start adding the chord switching. Okay, so here it is slowly again. And what you'll notice is that I'm pulsing. Now, when I pulse, what I do is I just take my left hand, I don't release the chord, but I release the pressure. My fingers are still in position. A lot easier to do on a bar chord. On the open string chords, you're going to have stuff that does ring out. And what you'll notice is that I bring my pinky, or whatever finger is not fretting, will stop the notes from ringing. That's basically the tune. We're going to go over the other sections, but you pretty much have 90% of the tune down once you get the intro down. All right, so work on that, come on back, and we'll take a look at the verse. The verse for Wake Me Up is also that same 2-bar chord riff, with the exception we're not going to play the A chord this time. Okay, so the 2-bar chord riff is B minor, 2 beats, G, 2 beats, and D for a measure. Okay, this section is 16 bars long, so that means that 2-bar chord riff, you play that 8 times. Now, if you just go over what I discussed in the intro about the strumming, about the pulsing, the chord switching, you'll have all you need to get through this section of the tune. All right, so review that, come on back, and we'll take a look at the rest of the tune. The chorus for Wake Me Up is 16 measures. It's the 2-bar chord riff repeated 8 times. Okay, so here it's the same riff as the intro. 2 beats of B minor, 2 beats of G, 2 beats of D, and 2 beats of A. The only difference is that the strumming stays the same throughout. It's not the same strumming as the intro. But that's basically it. All right, so work on that, and I'll see you back here in a second. The outro for Wake Me Up is the same chord progression as the chorus. You repeat that 4 times. Then it goes into, the only change that you're going to actually have is from B minor to G. So you get B minor for 2 beats, G for 2 beats, and that's it. On the recording it fades out, but you can play it for however long you want, and that's basically it, and that's the tune. I hope that you enjoyed learning Wake Me Up as much as I enjoyed preparing this lesson for you. This is a fun tune with a driving beat, and people enjoy it whether they recognize the tune or not. Thanks for hanging with me, and I'll see you here next time.